Well, we kind of started the drum line about 1986. No, 89 it was, 89. And we had never had a drum line per se like that. And the sidelines is something we completely started. When I first started teaching, we took it kind of off a role model of something the University of Illinois was doing. And so that's also where the warrior chant came from. We started all that, I think my second year here, so it'd been 1990. If you go back to the history, back in the 20s, all this really started with a small orchestra. That was the beginning of all this stuff, and then the orchestra kind of flourished. They called an orchestra anything that had string and wind instruments in it back then, so it wasn't necessarily like we think of orchestra like a string orchestra today. Orchestra was whatever kids brought to school to play, that was the group. And it sounded a bit like an orchestra, but it would be really fun today just to hear what that group sounded like way back when. I mean, if you look at the history of the Challen Band, it's always been a very, very strong program. You had Chloe Myers over there, you had Hal Hokinson, you had Nicole Oberg over there, Mr. Oberg is there today. It's really, really been a strong program. Of course, if you're going to have a good high school program, you have to have a good foundation, you have to have a very good, junior high program. And it's not just junior high program. You look back in the history of it, the beginning bands have always been strong. Under Bill Hertel, when Bill was here, he was the music coordinator and the beginning band director, and just made some fabulous students, and it's neat to see those students grow and come to the high school. And so today, Mr. O'Keefe does that. Mr. O'Keefe's doing a great job. We're really, really happy to have him here. So it's great to have those programs. It's kind of like, if you don't have a beginning basketball program, then your high school team's not going to be great. And so the stronger those programs are, that just feeds to us. So that's a great thing. Some history here, if you're asking about that. Kenneth Bailey in 1929 was the band, orchestra, and chorus director. And if you kind of look at some people that were big through the years, I'm going to kind of highlight some people. J.J. Richards, who was a very, very famous composer of music, was here in 1938 to 1945. Henry Birch, who also was a band director in Morrison, and I remember when I first started teaching here, Henry Birch was in a nursing home, and so that's kind of cool around this area, that he was still in here. In 1945, he was here. Chloe Myers is a very famous band director from this community, and he was at the high school from 45 to, he's 46 to 51. I think for me the biggest influence was Jack Schuler. Jack Schuler was an amazing band director here for 33 years. He was off and on because he had some heart surgery a few times, and they would bring in some people to help. But Jack Schuler was just one crazy kind of guy. I mean, if you would have known him, you would have liked him. And when I reflect on Jack also directed the community band. And when I got my start in Sterling, I would spend much time playing in Jack's community band, and knowing that he was a director at Sterling High School at the time. I went to Morrison, of course, as a high school student, and one of the highlights for me was my senior year. I was playing a solo with my high school band, and Jack Schuler, the Sterling band director, came to that concert and watched it. And that meant a lot to me, that meant a lot to me. And so when I got the job here finally in Sterling in 1989, Jack was a great supporter, and I just always enjoyed hanging around with him. Good guy.